the 2016 high school football season. If this is your first time joining us, I'm Patrick Crampsey. With me is John Cooper and Brad Hurley. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday night tailgate. Hard to believe, but the 2016 football season is just one day away, and here we are, new year, new league, same crew you got this year. So, boy, it snuck up on us this year, huh, Coop?
Absolutely. As I said, it's hard to believe it's football season when it's 85 degrees outside, and and you're sitting in the pool all day, and then you go, wow, there's football Friday night. So, but yeah, it's here, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm excited. Temperature's starting to get to right where you want it to be for Friday night football. It's going to be around 65 degrees this Friday, and I'm excited. They started the week a little earlier. Like you said, it came up on us. We were all scrambling, talking like, we got to meet up, and we did the best we could, but we're ready to roll.
Yeah, ready or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Yeah.
A bit of an adjustment this year for everybody with starting a little early. Seems kind of weird with having the high school football Friday night, no college this weekend.
Yeah,
right.
And so, it's definitely an adjustment, but, it's got to be obviously more of an adjustment for those that are getting out there Friday night. The coaching staff's getting the kids prepped and the kids getting ready. But, from talking to the coaches with the heat acclimation and, this summer, let's face it, at this point, summer programs are a lot more intense, maybe than they've been in the past. So I think most teams by Friday night, they're ready to roll.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be good.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the newly formed Schuylkill League for football. Obviously, for those of you familiar with the Schuylkill League and in other sports, the one thing it has been missing was football. Not the case anymore. The Anthracite Football League is now known as the Schuylkill League, and we just now have football in the Schuylkill League like we did for the other sports. So, very interesting dynamic this year. We got two divisions. So, Hurley, what do you think of the new makeup?
I like it. I mean, you're not now penalizing the smaller schools for playing the bigger schools, and you're not penalizing the bigger schools for playing the smaller schools. You can still keep your rivalries, schedule some other teams that you think you'll have a good chance of beating to get some points to get to districts, and it's still exciting because it's still Coal Region football. For the most part, everybody's still playing each other, and you're still going to see those rivalries played. And I'm excited. We're going to have two champs now, so you're going to have a small school champ, a big school champ. So those small schools aren't going to get eaten up by the Blue Mountains and the Leightons and the Jim Thorpe's North Schuylkills anymore. They're going to have a chance to play for something now.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it too. I like the parody of it and everything. A lot, some of the bigger schools might have a hard time filling their schedule, but everybody seems to have gotten it done. And ADs did a great job, coaches, whoever got involved, and everybody found teams to play. So and that's one thing I thought would be a challenge for some of the bigger schools, not having those guaranteed crossovers with the small division, but everybody has full schedules and ready to roll.
Yeah, the biggest disadvantage, like you said, is trying to get that schedule filled. However, the two division setup, it's fair.
Yes.
You look at the Division 1, and you're looking at teams that are all 3 and 4A. You're looking at Division 2, you're looking at teams that are all single and 2A. I think this also ties in nicely with the new classification system. There's obviously this year 6 classifications now in the PIAA, so you're going to have 6 state champs. But coming down to a smaller level, you're also going to have 6 districts champs. So, the biggest discrepancy we've had in this football league in the past is the bigger schools, they'd have to get 8 or 9 wins just to get in playoffs.
Right.
You're looking at smaller schools where, they might be able to sneak in with a 500 season. Not might, they have, consistently. So, I think not only the new structure of the league, I think the way the districts are restructured, it kind of ties together.
Oh, of course. Like you said right now, I think we could have, in that top division, we could have 3 or 4 playoff team comes out of there where that would never happen in the past because of, and I always said that, what if in a year Schuylkill, Haven, Marion, Monomoy, and Miners, say Monomoy and Minersville are all good teams. So now you got to play all those teams, and if you beat them, hey, great for you. You didn't really get that many points, but you got a W, and you still have to play a really tough single A, double A team.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really working out for anybody. So great job by everybody involved. For one, they got it right. They got it right.
Yeah, I like it too, and like you said, obviously the parody. How many the last couple of years we talked about coming down the stretch with the Jim Thorpes and the Leightons. 8 and 2 might not get you in there. 7 and 3 might not get you in there.
Yeah.
And hopefully that won't be a problem anymore.
No.
So the teams that deserve to be there should be able to play postseason football.
Yeah, and for the teams that start out a bit slow, they're going to have that opportunity later in the year if
Right.
they get things turned around. Which is the case in
Yeah.
sports that we've been involved in, basketball, baseball.
Yeah.
You go on that late season run, you could sneak your way into districts and go on a run. And football hasn't been the case.
Right.
The only downside you see to that, not with our league, but I think with the districts, is that over the last couple of years we've identified games and we've said, if this team doesn't win, they're gonna have a tough time getting in.
Yeah.
If this team doesn't win, they're out.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna have as many of those big regular season games from that aspect. You're still gonna have the rivalry. You just won't have the huge playoff elimination factor, I think, in as many games.
Right.
Nope. Yeah, but I think in the end run though, you'd rather see your teams with a 7-3 record get in than us being
Sure.
more excited about our regular season game.
I agree 100%. 100%. So, we'll talk about that more as the year goes on. We're going to get on to the preseason polls. First, let's talk about the media poll. Division 1, we got Blue Mountain, an overwhelming choice as the media preseason favorite to win Division 1. I don't think there's any argument from any of us.
No, I think we're all in agreement there. They have the most talent back, a big roster, and Coach Mabry seems to be getting better every year with that squad, and they're going to be tough to beat this year.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're the preseason favorites. They did the Callion brothers who transferred over to Schuylkill Haven, but there's still enough coming back in that Blue Mountain system that I agree with them being as a preseason favorites.
All right, moving on. We have North Schuylkill at number 2. We have Pottsville at 3. Lehighton and Jim Thorpe tied for 4. And then in last place, Tamaqua. So that is how the media sees Division 1 shaking out. Anything there jump out at you, Hurls?
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, Pottsville, you knew Pottsville, I thought, was going to be in that top echelon because they're a bigger school. They got a lot better last year. You could see that they were doing some good things with Jacoby and Lipinski. So, thought they were going to get to the top thing. In North Schuylkill, they just seem to always get the media's respect over the last couple of years.
Deservedly
and deservedly so.
Yeah. What do you think, Coop? Anything jumping out at you?
Not really jumping out, but I still like Lehighton. I think Lehighton is still going to be a tough team. I think they find players every year. We saw running back emerge last year in Marinick, with as Wyatt Clemens kind of number 2 guy. He's going to be the main guy there this year. And I still like that Lehighton team. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish higher than what they're ranking now. So not really that I think. I might put them ahead of Pottsville in the preseason as the number 3 maybe. And put Pottsville tie with Jim Thorpe.
Defending league champ, media picks them in the bottom half of Division 1, so they could qualify as a dark horse. So they're your dark horse, Coop?
Yeah, Lehighton won't be my dark horse in Division 1. I still think there's a lot of talent there, and I think they're going to be okay.
Hurls, dark horse?
Pottsville, I like them to really surprise some people, and like I said, they've been used to playing some big boys over the last couple of years. They're not going to see that type of size in our league. We just don't have that type of size. So I think that they're going to be confident, and I think with those 2 weapons in Jacoby and Lipinski, and we'll be finding out more names as we go along. Who's going to be great for them. That they have a real chance to in that Blue Mountain Pottsville game, that's a big rivalry, so you never know what can happen. They have a real good chance to compete for that division crown this year.
Yeah, they do. And we got the chance to see them play against Blue Mountain last year, game to game until Blue Mountain kind of wore them down in the second half. So you can certainly see the defending league champ. You can certainly see a team like Pottsville, go ahead and make a run at that Division 1 crown. For my dark horse, I'm going to go with a team that I think is going to pull a few upsets along the way and be super competitive. I don't know if I would necessarily be able to put them at the top right now, but I think Tamaqua, picked to finish last. However, if you look across the league at consistency, and I think what Coach Bonner has done, because Tamaqua, they're a school that before Coach Bonner, they've been kind of cyclical, where, as most public schools are, you have your up years, down years. I think that the weight room mentality that they have there at the Tamaqua, and, that they always put out strong, tough kids, they always compete. You look at the perfect season, perfect regular season they had a few years back, stuff like that I think gets a tad overlooked, to go out there every week and take care of business. And, although, they haven't had that type of success as far as wins go, every year they're extremely competitive, regardless of who they graduate, regardless of who they have hurt. And I don't see that being any different this year just because they were hit pretty hard by graduation.
Yeah, I really think that Division 1, I don't think any week you're going to see teams just get blown off the field and when those Division 1 teams play each other. I think they're going to be good football games.
I think until we see people play, you have to group 2 through 6 together because I think they're all very similar. I mean, everybody's got their playmakers back, got some playmakers back. They're all suspect on the offensive line, so I think that, until we see anybody play deeper into the season,
Right.
till we see what actually they do on the field, that 2 through 6 you could really group together. I don't think you can really say, oh, I definitely know this team's better than this team. Not at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which again comes back to the new configuration of the league. I mean, last year, how many times did we sit here and we're looking at our slate of games, and you only have 1 or 2. We're recapping the week before, and you have 1 competitive game.
Yeah, I know.
And I think this is going to eliminate that.
Oh,
I think once we get into league play, you're going to see a lot of competitive games.
Oh, of course.
Moving on to Division 2, media. Picking Schuylkill Haven, overwhelming favorite to win Division 2. Marion coming in second, Monterey area third, Minersville fourth, Panther Valley 5, Shenandoah Valley 6. Hurls, preseason champ.
Schuylkill Haven, they've been hyped the last 2 years, haven't lived up to it, but I think that the Callion brothers coming in, they provide a leadership and a toughness that maybe this team didn't have the last 2 years. I mean, we would sit here every week and try to figure out what was going on with that team because of the talent that they had and that had coming back. I think Danny Lozada, he was a great leader for them last year. I think he'll step up and be a leader again this year. I think bringing those 2 kids over with the success that they had at Blue Mountain, they bring a toughness to the table and a leadership quality that I think is going to set them above the rest this year.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with Schuylkill Haven. You're returning your quarterback who's been an assistant now 2 years. You got the Callion brothers coming in. You got Preston Garrick, another offensive weapon, and I think they're always tough up front. They always got some size, and I think they're going to be a team to beat in Division 2.
Yeah, agreed. I can't argue with any of that. I think Haven is looking very solid, and the addition of the Callion brothers is only going to make them tougher. Looks like a very, very tough team to beat this year in Division 2. So, Hurls, dark horse.
Oh, we were talking about this. I mean, it's tough. I think Marion. Listen, I'm not saying that Marion can't beat. That's going to be a huge game. The Marion 2 game. They have 18 seniors back, a bunch of starters. I just don't think that they have enough playmakers this year back. They lost. They lost D'Angelo. They lost Snur. Those were 2 of their huge playmakers. I do think that a dark horse this year, and it was kind of a dark horse for me last year, but I like their scheme changes. Minersville. They went to a wing T. They're going to use their athletes in a better way, I think, this year. They have Kedro Taylor moving him to running back, and they have a new quarterback, and I forget his name.
Steel Ficchetti.
Steel Fichetti's going to be the quarterback, and he's an athlete as well. So I think they're gonna pound you, and they're gonna use their athletes, and I think that'll keep them in a lot of games at that Division 2 level, and I think they could pull out a 500 year, maybe 6-4 year.
Dark horse.
I like the Panthers as a dark horse. I think they have a lot of good skill players returning. I think they're going to be very quick on the field. They need to find some help up front. I think if they can solidify their line and give the quarterback some time, I think Hunter Kennedy, Danny Gilberry, Rini Figueroa, I think that little group along with Blasco, I think they have a chance to put some points on the board and be real competitive. And I think their offensive style this year might keep them in games and kind of make up for that loss of size they have. So if the Panthers could be solid up front, I like them as a dark horse. I like them to go 500, 6-4.
I'm in the same boat as you.
Okay.
Calls homers. But I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, I look at the way they competed against some of the teams last year, like a Haven, for example. Taking them down to the wire. Jim Thorpe, and I think playing all those younger kids in a lot of those big games. Hopefully that carries over, gives them some confidence. As you said, a lot of skilled players back. They need to shore things up on the defensive end. Give up way too many big plays to beat some of those teams. So if they can rectify that. On the defensive end, I think they're going to surprise some people. So that would be my dark horse as well. As far as the Division 2, the coaches pick Haven, Marion, Monterey, Panther Valley, Shenandoah, Minersville. So very similar. We got PV picked a little higher by the coaches than by the media. And Minersville picked a little higher by the media than the coaches. So it kind of falls into our dark horses there as well. So that's the new alignment in the Schuylkill League football. That's our preseason picks as far as the division favorites and some dark horses. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about some players to watch in the upcoming 2016 season, covering the newly formed Schuylkill League for football. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Welcome back, TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate. This is the second segment of our opening show, kicking off the 2016 football season. Segment 1, we talked a little bit about the new alignment, the new name, the new league, Pottsville joining, which puts us at an even 12. So we got 12 teams. We got a lot of players to watch this year. That's what we're going to talk about now in segment 2. So first, looking at some of the big boys out of Division 1. Coop, why don't you hit some of the teams? Let's go Blue Mountain, North Schuylkill, and Lehighton. Why don't you tell us some of the players we should be watching for?
All right, we'll talk about Blue Mountain first. Obviously, the heavy favorites going into this season from both the media and the coaches. There's a bunch of players over there to watch. We're going to pick out 4 guys. Quarterback Mason Freed comes back to lead this offense. He's obviously a very talented player. He's supposed to put up some nice numbers this year, so keep an eye on him. Eric Noecker, mainly known for his defense. He's a nose tackle, and he's a beast in the middle and clogs up everybody's running game. So we're looking for Eric for a big season. Connor Kerstetter, another defensively outstanding as a linebacker, also plays tight end, gets involved in the offense. And also from Blue Mountain, Spencer Welsh, kind of a slash guy, running back, receiver, good in open space. So expecting some numbers out of Spencer Welsh as well. So, they're the guys from Blue Mountain. From North Schuylkill, we've been talking about this guy for a few years now. Hard to believe he's a senior now, right? Major Jordan goes into senior year. We've been talking about him since he was a freshman. Offensively, he's going to factor in this year as a running back. He got the ball a lot towards the end of last year with the injuries. And defensively, we all know he's one of the best linebackers in the area. Richie Zahodnik looks like he'll make the move to quarterback this year. You had Bobby Grigas there for 4 years, so big changes for North Schuylkill at the quarterback position. Richie Zahodnik's going to be the man behind the center this year, and also Bobby Wagner also might figure into that quarterback mix right now. We hear they're splitting some time, but Wagner will get involved in that offense at some level also. From Lehighton, taking over at quarterback, kind of the same situation. Tyler Cannon was there forever. He departed, so Cody Scher is going to step in. He was an outstanding receiver last year for the Indians. Talented football player. He'll take over at quarterback. And the guy I mentioned in the first segment, Mike Marinick, who kind of emerged at the second half of last year with some big-time runs and forced teams to worry about somebody other than Clements. So he'll be the guy for Lehighton carrying the football this year and should have a good season there too.
Yeah, looking at all those guys, a lot of experience there. A lot of guys. A lot of guys we've been talking about the last couple of years. I remember the first show we did when Coach Davis was still here, and he was just a lowly member of the TNT crew, and he wasn't the head man over there at Panther Valley. But the very first show, he said, "Remember this name, Major Jordan."
Yeah.
And he was just going to be a freshman at that point, and from that point on, he obviously has not disappointed. So, funny to see that he's a senior already. But like you said, a lot of big plays, a lot of big games, and expect a lot out of that crew that you just mentioned in this upcoming season. So, Hurls, the other teams in Division 1, Jim Thorpe, Pottsville, Tamaqua, who are we looking for?
Yeah, Jim Thorpe. You have Justin St. Hill had some really nice plays at running back last year for the Olympians. He'll be taking over for Robbie Heller, who had a great career at Jim Thorpe, and he's expected to do some great things. A real big speed back, but can also hit when he needs to. Antonio Madera, this kid, we've been talking about him for 4 years. It's hard to feel like he's been there for 10 years. He's going to be one of those power backs this year for Jim Thorpe, and also he's one of the best safeties in the area, has been for the last 2-3 years now. And then John Fickenster, one of the best linemen in the area. As Coop said, also does a little kicking here.
I love watching Fit kick. It's worth the price of admission.
Yes. He's actually going to go to the defensive side of the ball this year too, so he's playing some D tackle, so you'll see him making some noise. Pottsville, 2 names that I think are going to resonate throughout the year. Darian Jacoby and Eric Wapinski, 2 playmakers, 2 guys last year that really picked that Pottsville team up and got them to where they were a lot more competitive, and I think this year, they could get them to maybe a possible division crown. And then lastly for Tamaqua, Thad Zuber, full season under his belt last year, stayed injury free, so showed that he was better as the season went on, which is what you always want to see from your quarterback. He'll be a junior, more confident, more experienced. Nick Briner filling in for Bud Moyer, who's been their workhorse the last 2 years. It seems like every 2 years Tamaqua has a workhorse back, and then they get another one, and he comes in and rushes for 1,000 yards. So I think Briner will fill that void very well. Chance Zabo, he's supposed to be one of their best interior linemen this year. And Ed Titus was voted one of the preseason guys to watch, honorable mention, for All-State this year at defensive end and tight end for Tamaqua. So, like I said, a great crop of kids there. A lot of experience there as well. And it looks like we got some, like you said, that Division 1 is going to be packed with some great players this year.
One other name I just want to mention from that team, Ian Reniger out of Pottsville. For those familiar with the Anthracite Football League, but that have not seen Pottsville yet, being that they weren't in the league. Ian Reniger is someone that is going to cause a lot of problems for teams in Division One this year for the Tide. So moving on, I'm going to talk about some of the Division Two teams. First of all, Schuylkill Haven. Preston Gehring coming back. Preston Gehring could hurt you in a lot of different ways. Speedy, shifty, running back, very dangerous out of the backfield, catching the ball as well. Look for him to make a lot of plays for Schuylkill Haven. Also, you have the Callion brothers, Mike and Matt, transferred from Blue Mountain. They're both going to be with Haven this year, and that really solidifies them both on the offensive and defensive end. Also, as we talked about earlier, Danny Lozada, you look for him to have a breakout year this year at the quarterback position. Next, Panther Valley. 3 names to look out for. Jonathan Hafer, Hunter Kennedy, Rini Figueroa. Jonathan Hafer and Hunter Kennedy, both juniors. Rini Figueroa, a sophomore, both got extensive playing experience last year as freshmen and sophomores. Looking to take that step this year. Hafer and Figueroa, both in the backfield. Really were kind of the workhorse backs down the stretch for the Panthers. And then Hunter Kennedy, who did a nice job tossing the ball in the last 6 games or so for the Panthers, and has had a very good preseason as well for Panther Valley.
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
I think you could throw Danny Gilberry into that little mix there too.
Yeah, good call.
Because Kenny's going to throw it to somebody, and it's going to be Gilberry probably. I think he's going to have a nice season, catching the football this year.
And looking at week 1 scrim, Tristan Blasco, tight end, also a big target for the Panthers. Players to watch from the Marion Colts. You got Ethan Kaczynski. Talk about guys that have been around for a while. This is a 4-year starter entering his 4th year as the signal caller. Took over late his freshman year going into playoffs, and has had a stranglehold on the position ever since for the Colts. Look for him to have a big season as the Colts signal caller. Also, running back Mike Neary and linebacker Nate Litch. 2 of the workhorses for the Colts. So those are some players to watch for Haven, PV, and Marion. Next, Minersville.
Yeah, I mean QB Steele Fiquette or Fiquetti, we don't know yet.
Steele Fiquetti. Yeah.
He's athletic. He's perfect for that wing T offense. And then Keidre Taylor, I think he's gonna be one of the top rushers this year down there in Division II. I think watch out for those guys. Like I said, I think Minersville is much improved this year.
Yeah, Taylor was a guy that we thought would pop last year, and you might as well got slow out of the gate, played some tough teams, and it kind of
he was keyed on
snowballed.
very high.
And never really got it going. But you look at him on the football field, not only on the football field but on the basketball court, in track. The kid's an athlete.
Yeah.
The kid is a very, very athletic player. So we're curious to see what type of plays he can make this year for the Miners. Moving on, Shenandoah.
For the Blue Devils, quarterback Noah Algretta, shifty guy, talented with the ball. They're going to rely on a lot of speed this year, Shenandoah. They're not going to really physically beat anybody up, but Noah Algretta is going to do a nice job at quarterback. Running back Freddie Morales also there, probably the 2 key guys for Shenandoah. People might be asking about Santana. We understand that he was dismissed from the team, so as of now, no Santana this year for the Blue Devils. So look for Noah and Freddie to do the bulk of the offensive work there.
Monterey area Golden Bears, a lot to replace. They had really hit hard by graduation. So the key guy that they're going to be looking for is quarterback Matt Lewandowski to be a leader and to kind of take the reins and lead them both, not only on the field but also off the field, and be a leader in the locker room as well. So he's a guy that's very key to Monterey area's success this season. So moving on, those are some players to watch. We're going to talk now about some possible our preseason picks for the Schuylkill Football League. So first, preseason player of the year. Hurls, who you got?
I'm going to go with Major Jordan. I know it's kind of a cheap pick early on, but he's going to do it both sides of the ball, and I think with his added offensive touches this year, that he'll come away with that one.
Who do you got, Coop?
I like Mason Freed from Blue Mountain. I think he's primed to have a big year at that quarterback position, both running the football and throwing it. So I'll go with Mason.
I'm going to go with Aaron Jacoby from Pottsville. Again, if you're joining us and you're not familiar with Pottsville, Darren Jacoby, been getting it done now for 3 years. This is going to be his 4th year starting for the Tide. He does it rushing, he does it receiving, even threw 3 TD passes last year. The kid is an athlete. He's Division I baseball recruit, and look to him to make a lot of big plays.
Hokies.
The Hokies, yeah, Virginia Tech.
You will know him. You might not know him now, but you will.
You will.
I had the pleasure of calling a few of his baseball games last year, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah,
He's a real deal.
He is fun to watch, and he's going to be someone that, if you're a fan of what was the Anthracite League and now the Schuylkill League, you didn't get a chance to see this kid play yet, make sure you get out and see him play because he is a pleasure to watch. So he's my preseason player of the year, Dan Jacoby out of Pottsville. So, cool, Hurls, why don't you give us your offensive and defensive preseason players of the year?
Okay, my offensive player of the year is going to be Mike Callion. Last year, he only had 100 carries, over 700 yards. I think in that Schuylkill Haven offense where they like to pound the football, he's going to be that workhorse back for them. I think he'll get around 200 carries this year and load up those rushing yards. I think he'll be the guy in the offensive end. And I think defensive player of the year, Eric Noecker. I got to watch him play like 2 or 3 times last year, and he just caused so much havoc in the middle. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just looked unblockable at times, and I think he has that strong country fed type of body. And I also want to ask him. I've never seen anyone with the name Eric spelled E-R-E-C-H, so I want to ask him about that too. But I'll be respectful because I don't want him to toss me over the sidelines or anything. But those are my offensive, defensive players of the year.
Gotcha.
For me, offensive, I'm going to stay with Mason Freed. I'm picking him as player of the year, so if that falls in place, he should also win offensive player of the year. For defensive, also going to stay with Blue Mountain and Connor Kerstetter. Got a chance to watch him play some linebacker last year. Really likes the way he moves to the football. I think he can create turnovers, sacks, sack strip the ball, can return them. So I think Connor Kerstetter is going to have a big year at the defensive side of the ball.
All right, offensive player of the year. I'm going to go to Fountain Springs, Richie Zahodnik, North Schuylkill. I think he's going to be the key to their offense this year. I think they're going to use him in multiple ways. Look for him to play a lot of quarterback, but he's also very adept at running the ball and catching the ball as well. In the past, I think Zahodnik is going to be one of the best weapons in the Schuylkill League, and I think he is going to be the offensive player of the year for the league. And also, I'm going to stay in Fountain Springs. I have Jacoby as the player of the year. I think he's going to put out big numbers. Someone who may not put out as big numbers, but is going to be the best defensive player in the year in the league, I think, is going to be Major Jordan. So Major Jordan I have as the defensive player of the year. So breakout players. Hurls.
I'm going to go with Mikey Miernek from Lehighton. Coop and I were just talking. We were covering the Lehighton game earlier this year. He was there for the radio. I was there for the paper, and he had like 3 kickoff returns that were called back, and each time no one touched him.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have a fantastic year, and he's going to be my breakout player of the year.
Cool.
I like Hunter Kennedy from Panther Valley. Junior quarterback now. He's a full year under his belt. Last year they went into their preseason not really knowing what their quarterback situation was. Hunter emerged as the guy. I think Coach Davis is going to do a good job of kind of revolving this offense around him, letting him get loose a little bit, throw the ball. And I like Hunter to have a nice breakout season for the Panthers.
All right, breakout player of the year. I actually got 2. I'm predicting co-breakout players of the year.
Wow.
For the Schuylkill League. I
Throwing a wrinkle in her.
Yeah, I had to. I have 2 guys that I want to throw out there that I was impressed with last year and what I saw, and I think are going to be guys that make statements this year in the league. First one's Justin St. Hill out of Jim Thorpe. There's a lot of carries to be had there with the graduation of Robbie Heller, and I think St. Hill is going to be someone who is going to have a lot of opportunities to make plays for the Olympians. Also, Spencer Welch from Blue Mountain, fantastic defensive back, a very talented receiver, and if Mason Freed's going to have a big year, which we think he will, he's going to be throwing the ball to someone, and I think Spencer Welch is someone who's going to be the beneficiary of a lot of those passes. So those are 2 guys that I think are going to have big breakout years: Spencer Welch from Blue Mountain and Justin St. Hill from Jim Thorpe. So those are our players to watch for the 2016 season. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, our last segment of the inaugural show for 2016. We're going to talk about the Week 1 games. We'll be right back. TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.
14 minutes again.
Welcome back to this TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate. Thanks for joining us. This is segment 3 of our first show of the 2016 football season, covering the newly formed Schuylkill League. So looking ahead, we have non-league games this week, and that's going to be the case for the first couple weeks. You're going to see us spend a little more time talking about these games as the year moves on. But we got all non-league games in week 1, so we're kind of going to go through these, talk about them a little bit, just give you a brief recap of the games as they start being played when we get into our shows week 2 and on. But we're going to try to kind of keep track a little bit better this year of who we're picking, see who has bragging rights here. So we'll go through, we'll give our predictions, and we'll talk a little bit about the games. But as we said, all non-league games this year. We're going to start out in Lansford. Columbia Montourville Tech traveling to Panther Valley. CMVT, chance for Panther Valley to get some big points, and starting out the year at home with an opponent that is more in their caliber than some of the teams they've opened up with the past few years. So a very good opportunity for PV. I got them winning opening night.
Yeah, CMVT coming off a 3-7 season, 3-7 year season ago. I also like PV. I think that like you guys said, they're going to be vastly improved from a season ago. A lot of more experience, a lot more confidence, and say what you want to say when you're coming into a game with going against a program that's not notoriously known to win a lot. You have more confidence, and I think that's kind of the game that PV need to start off with. I like the Panthers as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think Coach Davis and the Panthers get off to a good start this season, 1-0 with the win over Columbia Montour.
All right, next we got Fleetwood traveling to Lehighton. Now, when I initially looked at this game earlier in the summer when we started talking about things a little bit, I thought it was a real dangerous game for Lehighton, knowing that the quarterback Fleetwood had.
Yeah.
It looks like he's transferred out.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm going with Lehighton at home. Lehighton's got a lot of momentum. They got a new stadium that everybody's super excited about. The program has everybody excited in town based on what they've done the last couple of years, and I think that momentum carries over to opening night this season. New team, defending league champs, new stadium. I got Lehighton.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fleetwood in this one.
I like it.
I mean,
Mixing it up.
Yeah, I think Lehighton's gonna be one of those teams that gets better as the season goes on. Like I think by the time they hit that their division, they're gonna be primed and ready to go. But this is a really tough team, I think, for a lot of those young kids that are in those skill positions that Wyatt Clemens and Tyler Can and all those other guys were in last year, Nick Chambers and all those guys. So I like Fleetwood, 6'1", 260 average on the line. That's going to be tough for the Indians to start off with, so I'm going to go with Fleetwood.
I'm going to go with you, Pat. I like Lehighton at home. Again, I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be rocking. And although new kids come into skill positions, kids thrive for that. They live for that. The Tyler Cannon, the Wyatt Clemens era is over. Now who's going to step up? Who's going to take over? And I think the Lehighton kids are going to be excited for this role, for this opener in their new stadium. I'm going to go with the Indians.
All right, next we got Penns Valley traveling to hometown to take on the Marion Colts. Marion, from reports that we've got, looked real tough against Northern Lehigh. A team that is very physical in Northern Lehigh, and Marion matched up very well with them. A lot of experience coming back. 4-year starter quarterback coming back. Lots of skill guys. I'm going to go with the Colts.
Yeah, I got the Colts too. Only thing Colts have to worry about, Penns Valley's got a senior quarterback this year, Andrew Tobias, passed for almost 1,500 yards last year. So we really got to be aware of that because any team early in the season on the road, if you got a good quarterback, you're going to take some chances early. So Colts maybe get down a little early, a little dangerous for them, but I like the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Marion also. I think just all around better football team. So Marion at home.
All right, next we got Wyomissing at Pottsville. Pottsville move to the league is really going to help them out a lot. As the year goes on and they get into the league play, you're going to see better crowds. You're going to see better games, more exciting games. Opening night, hosting Wyomissing, I think is a tough call for them. I'm going to go with Wyomissing in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Wyomissing too. Just a team that's been on a roll for the last decade, it seems like, and all the preseason prognosticators down there in that Berks County area think Wyomissing is a chance to win the district title again, so I'm going to go with Wyomissing as well.
Yeah, I also like Wyomissing, but I like this game for Pottsville as far as schedule goes because you come right out of the gate with a very good opponent, and then you say, okay, now we're ready to start our league run in this new league. So I like the scheduling. I think it's a great game for Pottsville. I think Wyomissing wins this game, but I think it only makes Pottsville better for the stretch.
And to kind of piggyback on that, one of the advantages of the new 6 classifications, you see more of this where teams are willing to go out and play someone because one loss isn't going to break their season typically. So I agree. I do like it from a scheduling standpoint as well. Next, we have Muhlenberg at Blue Mountain. This is a very interesting matchup of the preseason pick to win the league, at least Division One of the league in Blue Mountain. And I think Blue Mountain's going to have a real big year, but I think they're going to start out 0-1. So I'm going to go with Muhlenberg in this one.
Nice. I was kind of back and forth about this. All the people down in Berks County were talking about Muhlenberg being a tough team this year. 14 starters back. Legit runner, they say, in Najee Smith. He's a real burner. But they have some questions at quarterback. So I think Blue Mountain's defense will just rip that apart. I mean, they got some talent there. I think that they'll take care of business.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, evenly matched game. Blue Mountain's playing at home. I'm going to go with the home team and take Blue Mountain also.
The Eagles Nest.
Eagles Nest.
All right. Next, we got Towanda at Monoy. Monoy, a lot to replace after graduation. Towanda, long ride, coming off a season that they struggled as well. So it's a nice opener for Monoy area. I think, for Monoy, it's going to take some time for them to get going with all the players that they got to replace. However, I think Towanda is one of these teams that they're going to be able to have some success against. So I got Monoy on opening night.
Yeah, I agree. Any coach can say what they want and see what they see in scrimmages and camp, but you don't know what you have until the lights are on Friday night. So we don't know who Monoy's playmakers are going to be until maybe two or 3 weeks in. But I like the Bears in this one. Playing that tough AFL prepared them for this win, week 1.
Yeah, I believe the Monoy area opened with Lehighton last year.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So this is a lot better for Monoy area.
Yeah.
As far as an opener, last year I remember them opening with Lehighton. Them playing Lehighton tough, but
Yeah.
so this is a nice opener for Monoy area. I like them winning this game at home.
All right, next we got Shenandoah Valley at North Schuylkill. The Spartans, they're going to roll opening night in Fountain Springs. Too much experience coming back. Zahodnik, Wagner, Major Jordan. I like North Schuylkill opening night.
Yeah, I like North Schuylkill too. Without Santana, and without your favorite quarterback,
Paul,
Ian McCall.
tough as nails.
Tough as nails.
Love that kid.
Without him back this year, they're gonna have a tough time. I do like the Devils' offensive line. They got size and experience there this year, so I think they battle up front with North Schuylkill a little bit. North Schuylkill didn't have a great year last year on their offensive line. I think they lost 2 or 3 guys. So, but they got a lot of skill back. They're at home. They're the better team. I think they're gonna roll. But just watch for that offensive line and see how they handle that North Schuylkill game a little bit.
Yeah, too much Major Jordan and Richie Zahodnik. I like North Schuylkill also.
Next, Minnesota at Tamaqua. My preseason dark horse, I like the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, me too. I'll be there on Friday night for the Times News. Speaking of Times News, our tab comes out on Thursday, so make sure you go out into the newsstands and pick up a tab. But I think this could be a heck of a ball game in the first half. I think that Minnesota is going to come out and challenge the Raiders, but I think the Raiders are going to get into their groove. I think they're going to be more balanced this year. We talked about it last year with them. They need to be a more balanced team. I think they have that this year with Zuber and Briner. I like the Raiders.
I will also be there, Brad, for WMGH, so we'll talk at halftime.
Yes.
On with some stats.
Sure.
So Miners, Tamaqua, and I agree with you. I think you just hit it right in the head there, Brad. I think it's a game for a while, but I think Tamaqua eventually wears them down. And I want to see that Zuber throw the ball a bit this year and unleash some big plays.
Yeah.
We didn't mention a guy earlier, but I think Zeke Wassel has some good speed on the outside that can make some things happen. So I like the Raiders at home also.
Yeah, you mentioned Zuber. Zuber's going to be one of those kids. Now that it's a Schuylkill League and football's in the mix as well,
Yeah.
Zuber's going to be one of those kids that, sport to sport, he's going to be one of the best athletes in the league across the board.
Definitely.
Next, our game of the week. Week 1 game of the week. We got the Red Swarm, the Jim Thorpe Olympians, traveling to take on Schuylkill Haven at Rotary Field, the preseason pick to win Division 2 of the Schuylkill League. And, boy, this is a big game for both squads. You talk about the scheduling. Love this one.
Yeah.
From Haven's standpoint, you're coming out. You're the preseason pick to win Division 2, and you're taking on one of the big boys right away.
Yeah.
Jim Thorpe, from their aspect, they're not scared to go on the road and take on a real quality opponent opening night. From a fan standpoint, you got to love this game. I think the Olympians are going to have their hands full with Schuylkill Haven up front specifically, and now you add in the Callion brothers. I think Haven takes care of business at Rotary Field Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give the Olympians credit. The Red Swarm heading right into the eye of the hurricane.
Yes,
Week 1.
yes,
You know
they
what
are.
I mean? I think it's going to be a great game. I think Jim Thorpe's offensive scheme is so hard to prepare for because you have 3 or 4 guys, no matter what, every year it seems like, that just have speed and what they run with all the misdirection and the spread that they just seem to get 5 or 6 yards every time they carry the ball. So it's a great test for Haven. We're going to see where they're at. The hype train's going to either stop or it's going to keep rolling week 1.
You're right. You're right.
But I also like Haven. I think that those Callion brothers coming in gives them the leadership, that toughness. I think Jim Thorpe needs to get a little tougher. And I think Jim Thorpe's going to be fine this year, but I think Haven's going to be a really tough team to beat no matter who plays them this year. So I like the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I think this is a game that Jim Thorpe can win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the Hurricanes also, mainly because I know the Jim Thorpe coaches like when we pick against them. Every time I see Joey Hallen, our assistant coach, he says, pick against us. We like it. So I'm going to pick against my alma mater to fire them up a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna say Schuylkill Haven wins this one. But no shocker if Jim Thorpe goes in and takes care of business.
And what a huge win that would be for Jim Thorpe.
Oh, it'd be huge.
You know what I mean? That would give you the confidence to start running off some wins real early if you can get that one.
All right, so there you have it. That's our first show of the year. It's here already. Hard to believe. We moved kind of fast, but we had a lot to get through tonight. We mix things up a little bit this year as we go on. For those of you that have been watching us, you might see some different things a little bit, but we want to make sure we do our best to cover the newly formed Schuylkill League 4 football. So, for John Cooper and Brad Hurley, I'm Patrick Crampsey. Thanks again for joining us. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.